Hi, everybody. It's Matt. Wrestling with Whiskey is back. And I'm doing this intro like I'm doing a stereotypical YouTube video. Like and subscribe. Thanks. Oh. Anyway, it's live, baby. It is live. We're not doing that. We are just being ourselves. That's what we do. We start off. And how are you tonight, everybody in the house? Welcome to another edition of Wrestling with Whiskey Weekly. I feel like I've been talking in this room to this microphone in front of this camera all day, and I kind of have. I just got done recording with Tony Nese for the next episode of Straight Shooting. Interesting, really great guy. Very, very cool, very humble dude. Fan of whiskey before before we even arranged this. So, he's a whiskey guy. He's not nerds like us, but he's one of us. You know what I mean? Ended up talking to him for quite a while. I don't know. It's not all going to be in the show because we had to take a break for a second, but we had a long conversation, hanging out with you guys. And then I still got to do a podcast tonight for Lars Fredrickson, actually. I'm going to be on his podcast, his wrestling podcast. Lars Fredrickson of Rancid. So that's a little name drop I'm throwing in there. So whatever. I was a huge Rancid fan. So it's kind of a mark out moment for me. So I'm very proud of that. Dresden, oh, you sweetie pie, has become a member or renewed their membership. I don't know how that works, but I appreciate it, buddy. You are awesome. Victor in the chat, what's going on? Son of Whole Horse is here. Daria Chick's here as well. Hope you guys are doing good. Scorpion is here. What is up? Absolutely good to see you guys. Good to see you all. Put the uncut in here. There's nothing to add. It's not like there's a cool extra content. It's just like he had to go wash a glass, so I sat there for 5 minutes. I'm gonna keep most of it in there, but yeah, there was just some technical talk about microphones, and then that was it. Yeah, Rancid. It'll be fun. I remember that. Pete Kimmel, Michter's Blue Label. What in the blue hell, no pun intended, is Michter's Blue Label? And I'm drinking Michter's actually tonight. Finishing off my Michter's Toasted tonight. So I do have one more, thankfully. This is really nice stuff. So, cheers to everybody. I'm going to pour a little bit of this. That'll be my go-to, my palate warmer / potentially my palate cleanser with. It's going to be a pretty simple one tonight, folks. Tea infused bourbon. I did one bourbon. What did I use? Not Old Bardstown, but very Old Barton, bottled and bond, 100 proof. Figure pretty, standard bourbon, 100 proof, good, all that fun stuff. And then I put 1 tea bag of regular Irish breakfast tea, and then one had Earl Grey tea. Figured black teas might be better. They're bolder, they're strong. They might work better with bourbons as opposed to super light herbals or white teas. I might try this again with some scotches and some rye because I want to see what the different effect would be on those. So we'll see. Oh, yeah. Eric Smith, what's going on? Welcome in. Jadis Mercado, what's going on? Clink, clink. Cheers, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate you hanging out for a little bit as I destroy my computer and monitor. Oh, my God. I'm breaking everything. Just breaking everything. Dear God. But cheers. Absolutely. I will say, Michter's does their toasted barrels really well. Anybody who's had those, you know what I mean? The toasted rye is really good. The toasted bourbon is very good. I even also have the toasted American whiskey or whatever it is. It's just like the American sour mash, but it's toasted. It's all good. And it's all good low proof stuff. You know what I mean? This is 91. I think, let me check. The American whiskey, the sour mash, so they have a toasted barrel finish of the sour mash. So it's not even technically bourbon. I don't know what disqualifies from bourbon. I don't know if the original whiskey is different mash bill or aged in used barrels or something. But I mean, this is 86 proof and it drinks hearty. You know what I mean? There's some body to it. And whereas with a lot of whiskeys, I feel like if it's under 90, I don't taste, or not that I don't taste it, but it's like water, right? It's like thin. That's a full-bodied 86 proofer. I'll tell you that much. Is there a distinct difference, son of Holler? Is there a distinct difference between a toasted barrel and a charred one? Yes, there is. And I don't know all of the science behind it, but I'm told, so char, heavy fire, for a longer length of time, right? So literally, that's why you call it like that alligator char, things like that. Brings out certain flavors. And a lot of people do use a charred barrel. But there is a process by which you can char first and then toast. I don't quite understand. But toasting is a lighter flame, I think, for a little less time. So it's only toasting it, but it supposedly the science of it brings out a little bit more of the vanillin, which is where you get the vanilla taste. So you get a little bit more of these sweet vanillas and like almost brown sugar notes. My wife has friends over right now, so if you can hear them, 'tis what it is. But yeah, so it is a very different experience. I don't know if there's a way. I thought I've heard of some ways that you can char it and then you also can toast it. I don't think so. So what these are though, is it's a finish. So what they do is it's a regular bourbon aged in new charred oak barrels like usual, but then they have a second barrel that's only toasted. So then they put it in there for a while and it brings out more of those lighter vanilla notes. You know what I mean? So check it out. Jadis, no. You wouldn't, I don't think you would toast it after you wouldn't toast the same barrel if it's already had liquid in it. That would probably not be the best way to do it. Just with all the liquid that's literally living in the wood now. Because those staves, after years of holding bourbon, are like still infused with it for a long time. So yeah, it's a secondary barrel. It's a double barrel. It is a double barrel. Anytime you see finish, it means there's a second barrel involved. If it's a Scotch, say finished in sherry casks, versus that's something for you Scotch drinkers out there. Matured in sherry barrels means they made the Scotch, put it into an ex-sherry barrel, and that's where it aged, in that barrel. Finished means it was in a different kind of barrel, maybe a bourbon barrel, maybe another wine barrel, whatever, and then they finish it for a period of time in that second barrel. So matured and finished are two different things. Michter's is MGB. I don't believe it is, no, because Michter's is Kentucky bourbon. All Michter's has always been labeled as Kentucky bourbon, Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, toasted barrel finish. But even the regular Michter's says Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey. They are making their own stuff now. I think it's only a couple years old. They've been very close-knit about where their source is. So a lot of people have said Heaven Hill. I could see that. The profiles of like their standard bourbon and like Heaven, like Elijah Craig for some reason. I could see the similarity. Like, I don't think it's Barton. It's not Beam. It's not BT. So I believe it was probably Heaven Hill for a little while. I mean, I guess they could blend it too. There could be some Barton. There could be a little bit of everything in there too. But Heaven Hill is the kind of the colloquially accepted. They got a good chunk of their stock from there, especially their old, the Michter's 20. You know, the Celebration, things like that. Excuse me. Well, it's got a nice spice to it too. Like it's not just like the caramel bomb. It is a caramel bomb, but there's nice black pepper spice with that too. Dairy Chick, do bourbon's flavor change due to the region? They change due to everything. That's one of the things I love so much about it. Like literally everything plays a factor. You know what I mean? Weather. I was doing this with Tony today. What's the word? It's not terrier. I know that. I mean, that's if you're American, that's a dog. But is it terroir? Like the soil and everything in the region, wherever they get their grain from, that has an effect. Yeah. How hot were the summers? How cold were the winters for those 4, 5, 6 years, whatever you were aging it in? The elevation affects the pressure on the barrel and the weather and all that stuff. So that's what's so cool about bourbon, and that's why I love that. Even back in 1964, when still huge, almost all of it was made in Kentucky, they still decided that bourbon was going to be defined as an American spirit, not a Kentucky spirit, and so we can make it anywhere. And so that's why I'm loving what's happening now as bourbon has grown so much in popularity. There's distilleries everywhere now. I don't have the statistic. I don't know if there's one in all 50 states, but we got to be close. We got to be close. If I sneeze, I don't sneeze. I don't ever sneeze. So, yeah, there's bourbon being made in Maine. There's bourbon being made in Texas. There's bourbon being made in Washington and almost everywhere in between. I don't know if there is a Hawaii bourbon. I don't know yet. I should check in that. I should check on that. Absolutely. So it all plays a role. All that stuff. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Terroir. 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 Ah oui. Il est terroir. Mucho, mucho. I don't know. But anyway. Also, by the way, I picked up a bottle of a classic, a lot of people's go-to bottle. And I would recommend, if you're able to, I don't recommend clearing the shelves, but I would say Early Times Bottled and Bond. You see it, I suggest you buy it. More than one if you can. It's usually a liter for $29 or less. Some places it's $25 or less. It's really solid bourbon from Brown-Forman. And now, as many of you might know, oh my goodness, it is going away and coming back under Sazerac's label, being produced at Barton 1792. So be afraid, be afraid, be afraid. Get ready for Early Times to be rebranded, and I'm guessing repriced and reallocated. So I got it. Last week. I'm going to probably get another bottle this week. Get on that shit. That's all I got to say. Robert, that's Evan Williams, I believe we were talking about last week. I'm talking about Early Times. The old Early Times Blue Label Bottle and Bond. Oh, there is a Hawaiian bourbon, Drez. Cool Loud. Let me see if I can find this shit. Kulau Distillery. Ooh, is it a bourbon though? Here, let me see if I can. All right, Kulau Distillery. Here, let me get rid of this banner here. Yes, I'm over 21. Ooh. Yeah, where do you get your stuff? It's whiskey. Pure Hawaiian water, filtered through decades. Come on. Come on. Oh my God. Every batch of old Poly Road. Oh my God. All right, yeah. Show me the whiskey. I don't need to hear the fluffy things. All right. Yes, I'm 21. I already told you that. So old Poly Road whiskey. Interesting. You can get it by the case. So yeah, what is it? According to the gods, oh my God, really? According to Hawaiian legend, the gods reside in the ever-present mist where the peaks of the Ko'alau Mountains meet the heavens. Typical rainfall from this mist is filtered for generations through volcanic rock to become the pure artesian water resource to create our legendary whiskey. Really? Like, ugh, come on. Like, come on. Old Poly Road is a union of our locally distilled whiskey, made using locally sourced corn, and a high quality aged American whiskey. Ah, okay. So they do source some stuff. They don't, of course, they don't tell you where. I would have to see the bottle. Well, that's interesting. But can we even see, like, can you show me what the proof is on this thing? Does it say what the proof is? Just a 750? That's very, 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 very vague. No ages, no mash bills, no source. I can't even see the proof on here. I'm not even getting any good pictures of the proof. I mean, seems like a very namaste kind of place, but hot diggity damn. All right, Dresden in the chat's got one more. RHS Distillery. Okay, let me see. Let's go RHS Distillery. Royal Hawaii Spirits. God, yes, I'm 21. They have absinthe. And that's it. I'm kidding. Well, look, let's shop. They have whiskey. They don't have an E in it. I don't buy it. Interesting. This might mean if this is the problem though, with whiskey being so hard to ship, and I live in Illinois, generally speaking, doesn't allow shipping inward. Like I can't ship from out of state to in state. Now I can send things out of state, but I can't buy. That sucks. I may have to get one of my Indiana mules or something. Mahalo bourbon. 6 months. 40 bucks. You save. Okay. I'm not gonna flip out too much on this. It is Hawaii. Everything is priced a little bit higher. Overhead for all these things is harder to get because everything has to be shipped in by boat and everything like that. So even to set up a distillery is probably way more expensive in Hawaii than it would be in Pennsylvania. You know, steel, all these things, aluminum, copper stills, all this stuff has to be slowly brought in. So I'm going to forgive a price point a little bit. So, you know what I mean? But $39, that's pricey for a 6-month bourbon. Award winning. What fucking award did you win? What award did you win? Mahalo? Was it the Hawaiian first ever Hawaiian bourbon award? Because then I get it. But 6-month bourbon. That is a crummy label. 80 proof 6-month bourbon. $40. But this is my favorite part. I love when companies do this. Like they give you their MSRP retail price. Like this isn't a sale. You know what I mean? There wasn't some. Don't get me wrong. I'm not sold. There was not some juncture where they had this on the website for $69. It didn't happen. Not even. It didn't happen. But they're trying to convince you that like we normally charge $70 for this, but you're getting it on a limited edition. Limited probably because you haven't been able to make a lot of it yet. Fine, but a little liberal use of the word, limited edition. But this idea that they're trying to make you feel, I get it. It's a marketing thing. It's advertising. Look how much you're saving. Brother, you ain't ever charged this for it. You'd be dumb as, if you ever charged that much for it. But that label, oof. That is like if you tapped like an 8th grader in Des Moines, Iowa, and was like, "Hey, design a thing what you think of when you think of Hawaii." It's like, okay, you get this font on my computer that's like tropical, and then you put a palm tree, and you're done. And then write whatever you're gonna write. I'm done. Like, come on. You're charging me for. I'm not all about labels. I know. But come on. You're going to charge me $40 for a 6-month bourbon. The label better be better than that. That's all I'm saying, folks. That's all I'm freaking saying. Anyway. So there is all this to say. There is Hawaiian bourbon. Hang on. COVID-19 takeout mystery case. 12 bottles. They make liqueurs and stuff, apparently. 12 750 milliliter bottles. 6 different. You don't know what and of course, again, you save. Even though this is something we just literally made a couple months ago. $350 for a random assortment that you get no choice in of liqueur. Like, really? I mean, you're into the hundreds of dollars. I do not. I want to be able to have a say in what the hell I'm buying. You know what I mean? Oh my God. Oh my God. Those look awful. And again, it just looks low rent. This looks like Wolf Schmidt vodka on the bottom shelf. I don't know. $30 a bottle. $30 a bottle is not a great deal. For a package deal, and for liqueurs, for like banana liquor, like low rent limoncello and shit, coming out to 30. Again, you have to give a little bit of a price hike for the Hawaii thing, whatever. But hot damn. It's messed up. It's It's messed up. Well, I guess when you're in Hawaii, I mean, even if you're in Hawaii, you could probably get something local. No, God, I would never order that. I don't even think you could get that shipped anywhere. I think that's it ain't the thing. No, $3.49. What is it? $3.49 divided by 12? Easy cat. Or $3.50. Yeah, it's $30 a bottle. Yeah. Still, that's for crappy schnapps. Nuh-uh. We ain't doing that. All right, folks. It's main event time. It is main event time. So, what we have here. Look at the color is pretty good on that, actually. I do like the influence. So, fun story. I was thinking about it. I'm like, you know what? These aren't. It's not like it's hot tea. It's not hot water, right? So I'm like, it's a room temperature infusion. Might want to give it. I'm gonna do it overnight. So I put these in about 6 o'clock last night. Woke up this morning, did my shit, went to the gym, did stuff, and then like noon, I kind of like, all right, let me just kind of give them, because I a couple hours after I put them in there, right? A couple hours after I put them in there, I kind of smelled it. I was like, ooh, I'm like, it's kind of interesting. I'll be curious to see where this is tomorrow. So again, okay, I wake up, I go do my stuff, I come back about noon, I go to give them another little like test, and it was like, oh, it was like the leaves were, it was like over infused. The leaves, way too much influence. It was almost like rotten. And Earl Grey was bad, and then the Irish breakfast one was awful. It smelled like spoiled milk, almost. I don't know what happened. It was not good. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe I don't need 24 hours or whatever. Maybe I just need a couple hours infusion. So I put these in. So I cleaned them all out. I started over, and these have been sitting for about 2 hours, which seems like a good level. So we're going to try regular Irish breakfast tea and lovely English Earl Grey. Again, the color is pretty sweet. Classic Twinnings Earl Grey. My favorite tea in the world, Barry's Irish tea, Irish breakfast black tea. I'm going to go with the standard first. So I smell it a little bit here, but it's going to be interesting. So this is Irish breakfast infused, very old Barton. About 2.5 hour infusion right here. Oh. I get a little bit of that nasty note again. I don't know what it is. So that's a classic black Assam tea. Oh. What? How does like something is just like dry and bitter as black tea leaves, and then it's kind of like sweet, spicy with some bitterness bourbon. It's a wide variety of flavor. Oh, but it does. Holy shit. It's like kind of like spoiled dairy a little bit. What in the blue hell is going on here? Something is there is no dairy, milk, nothing. But it smells like something curdled. Man, I thought this was going to be a lot better, especially with less infusion time. It's very strange. Is it possible that the ethanol? Yeah, anything's possible. Anything's possible with the way but that's what this experiment's about, to see if it probably doesn't. Yeah, it's not going to infuse like it does with water or anything else. I was just very curious. It got kombucha. No, I don't know, Jim. This is way beyond fermenting. This is just like cooking. We basically cooked the leaves in alcohol. So yeah, this is about a 2 hour infusion at room temperature. Cheers. Oh. Wow. Big influence on the nose. The palate's not, it's drier. Why am I yelling? It's drier. And more bitter. It almost seems spicier, but this is not a spicy tea. So that might just be, it's like one of my first sips of the day. My palate could just be getting you. Well, I had my Michters, but the spice does seem a little bit more intense. Maybe it's just that dry bitterness. You know what I mean? For science. Oh, man. It really smells bad. All right, let me leave a little in the glass. Oh, my God. Vodka. Straight vodka, by the way. Great palate cleanser. All right. Earl Grey time. This, I feel like, has more promise. It's more about the spice blend. It's a little bit more subtle, all that stuff. Or maybe it's not subtle, it's bold. The herbaceousness and everything will be a little bit better, hopefully. Ooh, sniff the skin, that's right. And a great color. Love the color. Ooh. I mean, it's Earl Grey. It almost smells like Earl Grey. I mean, not almost. It does smell like Earl Grey tea, but with the whiskey, it almost makes it more fruity. Like, again, like a bitter fruit, herbaceous fruit, not like super sweet cherry or anything like that. Like, you definitely get those, like that cardamom and that kind of I don't know, what are the other spices in Earl Grey? I don't even know that. Almost like pepperminty, cardamom, floral. That's there, but then it also like it brings out the sweetness of the bourbon. I don't know if it's like a perfect pairing yet, but like it's not bad. It's interesting. But again, even this one was bad when left overnight, so you got to be really careful. Oh wow. Oh, wow. Jason in the chat. Yes, that's it. Bergamot, lavender. Thank your wife for us. Yeah. They're fighting each other. They're fighting each other, but it's not as vicious as you would think. I mean, it seems kind of obvious. I feel like this might be better, even though it's a black tea, might be better with a lighter, less bold whiskey, maybe a scotch, especially maybe like a sherried scotch. So it's nice, kind of like that barley, sweet, mellow kind of taste, and then the nice kind of herbaceous floral nature of it might be better. Woo. Does it give a layering to the base? Yeah, I mean, there's this the tea's sticking to the roof of my mouth kind of thing. The bourbon's kind of flowing its way through. Yeah, man, I go back to what I said before. It's not a marriage made in heaven, but it don't exist in hell neither. You know what I mean? And even this might be a bit of a strong infusion. Again, I really thought that at room temperature, I really thought it would need a ton more time, but I don't think this needs a whole lot of time. Like maybe the compounds in whiskey extract flavor out of the leaves at a much more intense rate than just leaving like in room temperature water. Could be. It's a fun experiment though, for sure. You always got to think. And Peggy No Stevens was trying to tell me that. You can do things different ways. So sometimes when you're joining things, you can go opposites, right? If you have something really sweet, you can get something really spicy and then they blend well. Sometimes you double down, like sweet with sweet, and they can create something good. Also, I mean, and then complementary, spicy, sour, whatever. All the, it all depends. If something this is really bold and you need something simple and straightforward to cut through it, that's an option too. You know what I mean? So you could get like a rye and maybe you just add all the spices in it and it would just be like this spice bomb. Get an herbal tea with a rye or some Earl Grey with a rye, a 95.5 rye, and it just might explode and great. Or it might be way too much, like popping herbs, spices, and all this stuff way too much. It might just be all like bitter spice and just kill you. So there's a lot of experimentation to be done. The tough part about this, if you ever wanted to like introduce it to like a restaurant thing, that or you'd have to be aware and maybe take the tea bag out. You know what I mean? You just time it, you make a big batch, put a couple tea bags in, drain them out, and then you could serve it for like a special night at a bar, potentially if you find the right infusion. Yeah, this one's a little overpowering too. Oof. It's far more interesting than the Irish breakfast one, though. I will absolutely say that. Far more interesting. Terry B in the chat, cool shirt. Oh, thanks. This is the Bardstown Bourbon Company one. Bardstown Bourbon Company. By the way, check them out. World's Top Whiskey Taster is coming back. I believe either currently or tomorrow, things are opening up for submissions. This time, they're only going to have a couple. They're going to have like 4 regional competitions. So you're going to have to, one is in Chicago, but instead of like in every single region, they're going to host 4, like, I think, live in-person competitions, I think, if I remember correctly. Check out their website to be sure. But yeah, so instead of doing like online ones in every single state, they're going to take their 11 or 15 territories and hold 4 in-person events based on video submissions. The winners from that, and I think they'll pick more than one winner from each one, or maybe it might just be a final 4. I don't know. And they will bring them down to Bardstown Bourbon Company and compete for round 2 of World's Top Whiskey Taster. I will probably enter again because why not? I love whiskey. I love the things Bardstown Bourbon Company is doing. And I like to test my mettle. You know what I mean? Other than that, folks, for those of you who are here as wrestling fans, I do kind of kick off a pretty large series of events this weekend. I'll be in Waterloo, Iowa on Friday. I will be in Broadheadsville, Pennsylvania for PPW on Saturday. Then the following week, I will be in Hamburg, Pennsylvania for Legends of Hamburg, Messina, New York on August 1st, Dallas, Texas on August 7th for the Indie Wrestling Expo, and ARW in Melbourne, Florida on August 8th. And then we're going into some stuff in September, maybe more and more in August. We'll see. But stay tuned to all the socials for that. Tonight, it's a short one, guys, because I got to get ready. I'm doing a podcast in in an hour or 2, and I still have to cook dinner and do other stuff. So quick one tonight. Thank you for coming with me as I suffered through these. These were interesting. I'm going to do them again. I'm going to try scotches. I'm going to try Irish. And I'm going to try some different teas because you always got to be trying new stuff. Oh, baby. We're going to do it. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for hanging out. Like I said, easy breezy one. Experimentation is the key to progress. And until the next time, ladies and germs, don't forget Tony Nese coming out on Monday. Straight shooting. Tell all your friends to subscribe. And in the meantime, always be trying new things and always be wrestling with whiskey. Peace, everybody.